a lot of times when Nigerians speak about security, they only refer to the military. So when Nigerians were calling for a change in service chiefs, they forgot that the other 23 agencies are also important. So politicians have a big role to play in terms of managing this disparate nature that we have. Our diversity can be a strength, and unfortunately it can be our downfall. Currently, we are very divided in terms of the kind of things that we say, in terms of our projection. There is a perception, especially in the southeast of Nigeria, that they are not being carried along.
Nigeria, popularly touted as the giant of Africa with a population of over 200 million people, has over time been faced with several serious security challenges, like the Boko Haram insurgency, militancy, farmer versus herder clashes, Biafran agitation, etc. The crises have over the years consequently been given ethnic and religious undertones, with many stereotyping some tribes with a particular crime.
These challenges are, to an extent, peculiar to the Sahel region. Almost all the countries in the Sahel region have the same challenges, more or less. In fact, some of them are even worse than what we have in Nigeria. An example is Mali. About 2/3 of the territory in Mali is currently being occupied by either jihadists or non-state actors that are clamoring for one thing or the other. And then you would recall not too long ago, I think about 6-7 months ago, there was actually a coup in Mali. And then Niger, the same thing. It has these peculiar challenges, even though the extent is not like that of Mali. Then Burkina Faso, Chad. What is peculiar about Nigeria, however, unfortunately, is that we do have a bigger population. And so the consequences of the security challenges may be worse if they are not managed properly than the other countries, because they are much more smaller.
Nomad Fulanis are largely located in the Sahel and semi-arid region of the country. They normally move to areas with abundant grass and water to sustain their cattle, owing to the environmental challenges of their region. Over the years, there have been clashes between Fulani herders and farmers in different regions in Nigeria, particularly the north central, southwest, and southeast, because of situations where farmers have their farm produce eaten by the herders' cattle. In recent times, the situation has worsened as reports of armed herders kidnapping and killing unarmed farmers have made most abandon their farms for their safety. Nigerians have ceaselessly called on the government to bring an end to these clashes, but the situation keeps getting worse with each passing day, resulting in private citizens taking the law into their hands. Recently in the southwest, Sunday Igboho, a Yoruba chieftain, gave an ultimatum of 7 days for the Fulanis living in the Ibarapa-Igongo area in Oyo State to vacate the community. Before then, the governor of Ondo State, Rotimi Akeredolu, had ordered the herders grazing in the state's forest reserve to leave the area. They both justified their ultimatums by saying the bandits and kidnappers responsible for the killings and abductions in the region are masquerading as herders with support from some criminal elements in the nomadic community.
The proscribed indigenous people of Biafra created this illegal body called the Eastern Security Network, and then there was a confrontation between them and the security agencies. Now they used weapons that no country should allow to be in the hands of private individuals. These are weapons that are military-grade weapons. And so how did these weapons come into the country? Is it the fault of the military that those weapons came into the country? No. Immigration and customs are very important in every security architecture because they protect the border and reduce and are supposed to stop the inflow of this type of illicit materials, including weapons.
Speaking with Kabiru Adamu, a security expert, he mentioned that the use of force and ethnic degradation will not solve the crisis. He says the government needs to create ranches to accommodate the herders before a lasting solution could be said to have been found for the crisis.
For me, one critical element is to ban open grazing and come forward with more advanced means of livestock farming and herding as it were. But then do you do it with a wave of hand or with a wave of stick? Remember, it's a culture that has been embraced for a long period. So we need to engage with the herders, teach them new and better methods, and then in certain instances even support them financially for them to migrate from this current method they are using to the new method that we want them to, because they themselves actually need it. Cattle rustling is affecting them, and the reason why cattle rustling is affecting them is because they are nomadic.
He further explains how soft targets like remote villages, schools, border towns, etc. can be protected against Boko Haram insurgents, admonishing the government to take critical steps in addressing the security challenges plaguing the country and make optimal use of the first-hand information they are getting.
When I, as a private individual or a private company, am getting that kind of report, I'm just wondering what kind of intelligence is the government getting and why are they not using that intelligence? Twofold. Number one is to look more closely at the security architecture and come up with a mechanism that would involve both the federal, state and local government security components. If you go to Borno as an example, they have the Civilian Joint Task Force, which is a state-level initiative. They also have several other state-level initiatives. Now, I know the Civilian Joint Task Force is working closely with the military, but then they are not recognized, as it were, by the state. So to that extent, they are not getting any support. Now, also, the local governments are almost non-existent. So it's a combination of all of this that would help reduce the vulnerability of these communities to Boko Haram attacks. But beyond that, I think we need to have an early warning system where villagers can alert the relevant security agencies if they are coming under attack.